Hello, I'm Matth Mitchell here at Augusta, Maine, in front of the Capitol building, where our Occupy location is set. Just wanted to say a few words, try to put them out there. In a lot of occupations, it seems that we have a lot of trouble with, people essentially being misrepresented, and people assuming that the camps are represented by single people. I do not represent all of Occupy Augusta. I do not represent all of Occupy, as nobody should represent all of anything. Our president does not represent all of America. No one's voice or face represents everything. We are stuck in hierarchies. We have people who think that the Occupy movements need hierarchies, need people to be dictating what will happen, when, and how. As it is, our numbers are small. A good chunk of the people that stay regularly are people that do not work, do not want to work. They act like it's just a place to come and camp and have fun, and oftentimes do drugs, which I really don't care if they do drugs, but right here it's getting in the way. And all over it seems that that's what's happening. That a few people are here camping and oftentimes scaring off potential aid that we might have from people that aren't camping, that aren't regularly part of the Occupy movement. It seems as though the movement is dying. Maybe it's not. Hopefully it will come back in another form. If it does, I've heard tell that the occupation was originated by Blackwater, that it was all formed out of various organizations trying to push us in one direction or another. There's been a number of people here who feel like they've been pawns, who feel like they've been manipulated at every stretch of this occupation, and I believe that to be true. I believe that we have been manipulated. And one thing that I have to say for all of you people who think that you cannot be manipulated, that think that you are not sheep, you are sheep. There's no way to not be sheep, no way to be unmanipulatable. It's impossible. It's one of the things we have to live with, the fact that that we are imperfect, that we can be manipulated. One of the major issues that I think we should have been talking about all along is tolerance. Tolerance for each other, tolerance for our cousins on this planet, because that's what we are. We are all cousins. Unless we're a closer relation, we're cousins. Regardless of your philosophy or your religion, it's just the way it is. We all are related. We're all family, and we need to treat each other that way. Even the people with antisocial personality disorders, who I believe are essentially the cause of this, are not at fault. They didn't ask to have no empathy for other people. They didn't ask to either be born without the capacity or be drilled into a state of acquired sociopathy. Their lives were not pleasant as children either. And we need to understand. We need to understand that it's not anybody's fault. That none of this, that nothing is anybody's fault. We need to stop blaming people. But that's my opinion. Maybe blame is a reasonable thing to have, a reasonable thing to impose on people. But I don't think it is. I don't represent you. I'm your cousin. But I can't represent you. I hear tell of these FEMA camps that are being built. 2.1 million Americans are in prisons as we speak. That's the highest ratio, which I don't know the exact ratio, but it's the highest ratio of population to prison population of any country. We've got the highest inequality as far as financial inequality of any post-industrialized nation. We've got so many problems. The original Rockefeller, or rather the father of the original mega wealthy Rockefeller, was a literal snake oil salesman. And then the wealthy Rockefellers and the Kellogg's start working on factory mentality studies.
Hey, see you later, Alan.
And these factory mentality studies have evolved, in combination with what we found from our prisoners of war in China, who started spouting Chinese propaganda. I'm not even going to call it communist because it's not. That was the label used, but it wasn't communism. Just like, this isn't democracy. Democracy is not, to repeat a sign I made, democracy is not the freedom to elect our own dictators or the freedom of the wealthy to buy them. But, in combination, sorry to skip around, this is going to be some editing, isn't it?
Okay.
But in combination with the work done on factory mentality and what we found from our prisoners of war from China, and what we found from Project Paperclip, the people that we've got from Nazi Germany, the scientists that we brought over in Project Paperclip, have, they came together into a group of projects, the most famous of which is MK Ultra. If you haven't heard of MK Ultra, I insist that you look it up. It's there's a bad word, conspiracy. It's got negative connotation to it. Don't you think that connotation's gotten a little repetitively beaten into us? How negative that is. But MK Ultra is persuasion, mind control techniques, and they're not as, it's not as subtle as, subliminal messaging. It's out there. It's showing you pictures of what you want, happiness, people smiling, playing with their children, and then there's this drug, or there's this beautiful woman, and there's this product. Building associations. It's simple psychology. And, we all give into it. We're all susceptible to it. The GA system that's been used, sometimes sparingly. Here it's been very sparing. It has its pros and cons. It's supposed to be a form of democracy. And I can see it being certainly a better democracy than what we've got now. But the GA is supposed to be our format for how we would essentially replace the government, how we would come to what they call a consensus. my perception of the GA is that the loudest, most charismatic are the ones who get heard. If you have somebody who's who's shy, who's quiet, who maybe doesn't really like being in large groups, somebody who mumbles, they're not going to get heard in the GA. And giving your message to somebody else to read doesn't always get read the way you wrote it, or portrayed the way you intended to portray it. Now I could see us expanding the GA, trying to make it a combination real-life online experience, so that you can have people online interacting with the people that are here doing the GAs. Really, we're trying to come to a consensus on things that involves all of us. It's everyone. That it's more than the 99 or the 99.6%. It's all of us need to have our voices heard, or need to at least have equal say in these things. I've been proposing since I got here that we have a voting booth where you can come in 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, no excluded holidays. You go in, you can vote, you can retract your vote, and you can add propositions to be added to an online list so that everybody can see all the different propositions for new laws or new wordings for existing laws. It's not perfect. I think that the best way to have it done would be to have everybody's name or maybe an identifier attached to their votes, so that we can be as transparent as we want them to be. We need transparency. We don't have it here. It doesn't appear that it's really been in any of the occupies very well. But I've been here. I haven't been online, so I'm not. I don't know. With any degree of certainty. But transparency is something that we need if we're. We think that privacy equals security, but it doesn't. We're not secure now with our police state and our inclusion of FEMA camps, which, having looked at the law, I can see a few loopholes they could use to throw anybody they wanted. And the Patriot Act, it's, I wouldn't have a problem with, the government having access to all of our phone calls, all of our text messages and our emails, if everyone had access to it. And I think we need to give up the ghost, the illusion that privacy and that our little secrets, the fact that, we pick our nose when nobody's looking, or that we like deviant sex. None of it matters. None of it's harming other people. None of it should be illegal. We have these laws that look like a combination of a War and Peace novel in Greek and a choose-your-own-adventure story. It doesn't make any sense. It's made like the bureaucracy so that it's so difficult to look through and so boring to look through that few people can actually look through it all on even a single issue, let alone know every law that we have. And our laws aren't even written by the lawmakers. Our laws are written by people who don't care about us. They're our family, but they don't care about us. They don't. Maybe they think about us as family. Maybe Maybe they see in that, that philosophical sense that we are all family, but they don't have the capacity to care. Um, we can't fault them for it, but we can't let them continue running our lives. We can't, for the sake of our children, we have to do something. We have to step up. We down at Occupy Augusta, we had 30 people sleeping here for a week. When we were just barely starting to get organized, and then we had all these projects that we could do, that all these different wonderful things, but we did not have the people. We couldn't even get a live stream here in Augusta. We had it for what, a couple of hours during one event, and only because somebody from Portland came up with their laptop. How are we supposed to stay connected, stay transparent? How are we supposed to, be visible so that everybody can see when we're being manipulated, so that people can detect these, the flow of, the moods, morale, and when people are inserting, statements at just the right time to convince us that violence is the answer to somebody throwing eggs at us. And somebody can... It's depressing. And it's overwhelming. And I understand people, just wanting to go about their usual routine, pretend that nothing's changed. People wanting to, live life and hope and pray that everything's just going to turn out fine. That in the end, somebody else will have fixed things. But they have a lot of guns. They have a lot of manpower. They have what we think of as being worth things. They have money. They have land. They have technology that's been hidden from us. MK Ultra was 40 years ago. Who knows what, since they have not declassified anything in 40 years, who knows what they've come up with since? Who knows, we could all in this camp already be sterile just from, the planes flying overhead or something. Anybody could have brought in food that we all ate. We don't know everything. We don't know the extent of, of what's going on, of the conspiracy as it were. There's really no way to know. We've found ourselves dependent on Google. We even call searching online Googling. We've become dependent on them for everything. We need to regain our independence. We need to learn to suffice on just what we need and as little more as possible, and not use Walmarts and Sears, and not, pay General Electric and, all these electric companies for all of our services. We need to become independent. If we had the people, which we have the support, but everybody's working for these other people. If we could come together and work for each other, we could build our own infrastructure. We could build organizations, democratic companies, to combat Walmart and Home Depot and, the electric companies. We could build gyms that we pay people to go to, because rather than the gyms running on electricity from the grid, the gyms are powering the grid. We could have so many wonderful, beautiful things. The technology is out there for us to live with minimal work on everybody's part. You know, if we work hard together now, the time is coming. You know, maybe this whole FEMA thing is gonna calm down. Maybe, none of us are gonna get arrested within the next, few months. Maybe we're all gonna forget about it. But in 10 years or 20 years, it's gonna come back up. They're gonna go for just a little bit more. Just a little bit more. We're gonna have another president that goes 3 times beyond the last one in taking our rights and in taking our money. We have the power between us. We have the manpower. What we lack, I don't know. What we lack is a sense of family with all humankind. And beyond that, with all of nature. Whether you believe we all evolved from a single organism, or we're all God's children, or that we're all part of just this existence, this whole universe. Every being, every rock, every star, we're all family. We're all made of the same stuff. But we choose to war with each other, and war is usually for profits. War is not for self-defense. American wars have not been, traditionally for self-defense. And so many other wars before. America didn't start this. They're just part of it right now, a major part of it right now. Man, we need to see each other as family. We need to see the children starving in Africa and dying of AIDS and malaria. The children being raped because it's a belief down there in some areas that having sex with a virgin cures you of AIDS. I mean, female circumcision we need to take care of. We need to prevent so many things, and yet we're stuck here on our own ground defending just ourselves. I see so much in encampment, people saying that those outside of camp aren't, their voices don't matter as much as the people inside, or the people outside's voices are being said to not matter as much as the people inside. People from outside of Maine don't matter as much as native Mainers. People from outside the U.S. aren't as good as U.S. citizens. It's all this racism, this nationalism, this elitism from religion and everything else is just, it's dividing us. It's promoting wars. It's promoting violence, bigotry. It's promoting an us versus them mentality that is not sustainable. I do not think that we need to have one direct democracy, which I'm a proponent of direct democracy, but I don't believe that we should have one democracy for even the entirety of the U.S., even the entirety of Maine, necessarily. We should have laws that if every group agrees on, then it will be that group, that state law. If every group in Maine agrees on, every county agrees on this law, then it will be a Maine, state law de facto. But we could have county-wide direct democracies where, you set the laws in your county. And we don't need long, extravagant laws. We need simple, concise, plain English laws, or plain whatever language you speak laws, that are the basics, the things that we really need to, make laws for. Assault, rape, theft. We don't need a law telling us that it's illegal to carry a marker if you have ever, ever put graffiti on a wall. We don't need laws, telling people, not to do insider trading, because the stock market really shouldn't be in existence anyway. What good has it done to anybody who's not rich? Let's put it that way. We need laws, for our safety, not because somebody thinks something is right on some principle, or because some wealthy person or wealthy entity wants a law and they can afford to coerce people into making a law. If we all have a say, those laws will not exist. For all of you who continue to occupy or to protest in whatever manner you have, or you decide to, I have a suggestion. I know people like things that rhyme. Something that you can say to the police if they ever come to arrest you, that will hopefully convert any that aren't all set with being tools of the established power, so long as they get to have authority and beat people. Rhyme goes as such: please do not enforce laws that are divorced from the protection of the people. Your job is to serve those who don't deserve, so quit and start protecting the people. We need more people to come down here to help us out. If we can get a live stream going, get communication up, then we won't need as many people here. But until we have our base of communication, we need people here to help us out with our GAs, to help us out with everything going on, even just picking up, even just holding signs up. Every little bit helps. Every little bit of moral support helps. So yeah, we need people. I mean, this movement needs, more than just people honking their horns. We need people to come down and do things to aid, to come up with ideas, to do direct actions, to we need more help in every department. I mean, I'm in 5 different working groups, and most of the people who do anything are in at least 3 working groups. And we need, at least temporarily, till we can have a solid communication, real transparency here, we need more people here.